face adversity when they're, much older, or when they're, in their 30s or whenever, but in my life. As some of you may know, I lost my dad in December of last year, 2016, and it was hard. It was hard because it's not only, one or two children in our house. We have 7 kids at our house, and I'm the oldest of that 7. And it was hard because I was the type of person, I never liked crying in front of people. I soft-side in front of people. And if I needed to cry, I'd walk away, or I'd go somewhere where nobody sees me, and I'd wipe my tears and, come back to where I was at. And I remember the night my dad died. We were coming, I remember when we were driving, we were all kind of loud in the car. And my mom was like, can I just have some peace and quiet in this car? And I looked at my mom, I'm like, she's never like that, And I felt that vibe from my mom that something was wrong. And so I was just like, okay. So we were just kind of quiet, driving to the hospital. My dad was already in the hospital that night. So we were driving to the hospital, and my brother Tuli was already with him. And so we got to the hospital, and my mom had to go park the car. And I remember running to the front desk, and my mom's like, Mele, wait. You have to wait for us all to come in as a family. But I didn't want to wait because I haven't seen my dad all day that day. So I kept on walking. I went to the front desk, and I was like, hi, I can have my dad's room number. She gave it to me, and I went up the elevator, and still I can hear my mom from the back, Mele, you have to wait for me. And at that point, I kind of knew something was up, but I wasn't assuming the worst. So I got in the elevator, and I went up. And as soon as I got off the 3rd floor, my brother was there. He was standing there, and he already looked like he's been already crying. And so I look at him, I'm like, what's wrong? And he just grabs me, and he holds me for like a good 2 minutes. And mind you, Tui's big, and I can't let go. So I was just like, let me go. I want to go see Dad. And then I finally let go. And then I walk into the room, and I remember moving the curtain, and I remember him laying down there. And I remember there was no wires attached to him. There was his skin just was pale. And he was just there. He was just laying there. And at first I didn't cry. I was just standing there in shock. I was like, what's wrong? Why is my dad like that? Like, somebody come put some wires on my dad right now. And that's when my mom came in. And my mom just burst out crying. And my mom already here came back. And I hear no answer. I hear nothing. And then that's when my mom pulls me and my brother in. My mom goes, your dad's been having cancer for the last 6 months. And right there and then I fell to the ground and I started crying. And me and my brother just started crying. We just like, why? At that point, I was on the floor of the hospital. I was asking myself, why? Why my dad? Why my family? Why my mom? Why my siblings? And I hold his hand, and it just feels so cold, and it just feels like he's not there. And I remember always holding my dad's hand as a young girl, or even a girl now. I remember I can feel his love and his warmth and his caring. And then now that I feel that his hands are cold and pale, it just feels, it's a different feeling. And the whole time in that hospital room, I was just thinking to myself, what are we gonna do? This is the leader of our family. I'm lost. I was lost. My mom was just sitting there crying, and I hate when I see my mom cry. And it was just something that nobody wants to experience in their life. And experiencing it at such a young age even was worse. Because me now, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm still growing as a young girl. I'm still growing as the girl I plan to be in the future. And having something hit you so fast and so hard at such a young age was crazy. And I remember the whole time we were kind of planning his funeral. I remember my mom calling me and my brother in the room and asking me, where do you want your dad to be buried? When do you want him to be buried? We need to go look at caskets. Never in my life that I thought we would have that conversation. Never in my life would I have to think that I'd be the one choosing my dad's casket out or choosing where I want my dad to be buried. Regular conversations are choosing where I want to go to college with my dad, or choosing which car I want. It was different. And I had to experience it the hard way. I had to experience looking for things that who would want to look for a casket for their own dad? Nobody would. And I just sat there and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I wasn't into it. I wasn't in no rush. I wanted to be alone most of the time. When we had a lot of family come over, I stayed in my room a lot. People came in my room to say hi and bye. I just, under my sheets, I'm like, get out of my room, like leave me alone. And burying my dad, I had to say bye to my dad on the night of Christmas. And that was crazy. I was sitting down and I was like, I remember last year we were just opening presents. Now I'm burying my dad. What a big difference between a year, And I wasn't really paying attention to myself. I was more so paying attention to my siblings because I'm the type of person who makes sure they're good before I am. I wanted to look at my little sisters and make sure they were okay, make sure they were well dressed. Even though our dad just died, we want to look presentable so that people know we aren't missing a person in our household. And I think that's where my focus was most of the time. And I just felt bad. I felt bad that they don't have the experience I had with my dad as a young girl. They don't have that voice in their head saying, you need to get your priorities straight, you need to go to school, you need to do this, you need to do that. The little lessons my dad taught me, I wish my little sister would have had that. But we're still in the process of kind of teaching them and letting them know the things that my dad let me know. Even though it's coming from a different perspective and a different view, I'm still trying to teach them things my dad taught me. And I think facing adversity is taking God's obstacles and all his problems and all the things that are thrown at you guys. Even though we're all young, we're still growing. We probably don't even know what we want to do yet. But take God's problems that he throws at you as a disguised blessing. I'm not saying that my dad died was a blessing to me because I know he's in the good hands of God. But I know that ever since he died, my family has been progressing. So much opportunities we're getting. And I know that God is looking at something so much brighter for my family in the future. And that's why I don't always cry here at school. Many people ask me, Mele, why don't I see you sad or anything? And I just tell them because I know God got me. I know God got my family. I know I'm going to be straight. And if I keep praying every night, every morning before I come to school, I'm going to be good. And I remember my first day here back at school, I was sitting in Miss McCutcheon's room in the back, and she was just giving out work. And I was just doing the work and I just started crying. And I walk out the classroom and it was just the little voices I heard in my head was my dad, because my dad was so big on school. My dad was like, school is number one, you need to get this right, you need to have a good future. In order to have that, you need to go through school first. And being at a place where your dad gave you so much weight on it was crazy. And just this past week on Monday, you all know it was Welcome Senior Day. And that day was probably one of the hardest days too in my school career, because coming to school on your senior day, it's your last year, you're ready to go, ready to sign up for college applications and all of that. And I didn't have anyone there for me. My mom was on a business trip to Atlanta, and my dad's obviously not here. And I had to wake up alone. I had to boost myself up. I had to tell myself, like, this is your last year. You need to try. You need to do everything in your power to make it for your family. And that's what I had to do without Tuesday morning. And I was late. I was late because I was sitting in my car and I was crying. I was crying for a good 15 minutes. School started at 9. I walked in here like, 9:15? And I was just sitting and I was crying. I was crying because I felt so lonely, I felt like nobody was really there to tell me that, to boost me. Out of all years of my life, they could have missed my sophomore year, my freshman year, but this is my senior year. It's something special about your senior year. It's your last year. You're really gonna go hard this year. And I just felt so lonely. None of my classmates knew. I walked in here, I was smiling. Nobody knew. Everybody just thought I was late because I overslept or something. But I walked in and I was like, I told myself on the way here, I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna do everything in my power. And every time a teacher would come to me that day and say, I'm so proud of you, all of the achievements you've done. In my head, I would hug them and I would look up to the sky and I'd be like, Dad, this for you. I hope you're proud. I hope that I'm making you proud. I know that maybe sometimes I don't follow what you want me to do, but I'm trying. I'm really trying. I'm really hoping that you're smiling down at me. And that's why I always say I'm blessed every day, because I'm privileged to be coming to a school like this. I'm privileged to have the teachers that I have, the class that I have, all the friends that I have, and all, especially my family. I'm so blessed to have the mom that I have. Someday I aspire to be like her. I want to be as strong as her. I want to be able to handle 7 kids, still get her doctor's degree, handle work 24/7, go on business trips in and out. I want to be like that. And losing your husband, I can't imagine if I'm going through this like this, I can't imagine what my mom's going through. So that's why I kind of boost myself up. And I don't take no for an answer. I know that God's giving me this challenge because He wants me to be better. He wants me to be a strong, independent woman. And I thank God for all the little things He has done, good or bad. I still thank God for all of it. And I pray to Him every day, give me wisdom, give me good health. Put me where You want me to be, God, not where I want to be. And now that I'm standing here, 17 years old, speaking to you guys, all I want to say is don't take anything for granted. Appreciate every little moment. My mom always says, life is so precious. Life is really precious. We can say hi and bye to each other today, and one of us can be gone tomorrow. And that's why I say, enjoy your moment. Build your heart now for God, so that when you enter into His kingdom, you'll be straight, you'll be good. You already know where you're going. You're set for life. And I'm still building me. I'm still getting what I need to get done. I focus on my priorities as a young girl. I have to get myself straight before I move on to anything else. And that's what I deal with today. I still try to get my siblings done, get my schoolwork done, get my sports done, get this ASB thing done, all in one. But I know God is still throwing obstacles at me, and I have to learn how to juggle it all in one. And I think one of the biggest blessings that God has taught my dad to bring down to me is my dad was preparing his heart for God. And I'm so glad that I came this year. My dad was building his heart for God. Because I remember every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, my dad would sit, he would wake up, and he would sit in the living room, and he would read his Bible verses, and he would read his little hymnals, and then he would just sit and sing and, just pray. And I'd be sitting in my room, because my room is kind of close to the living room, and I'd hear him. And I wanted to I never saw my dad get off the bed in the living room. So in order for me to see if my dad was okay, I wanted him to physically get up and come wake us up for school. So I would hear him like 6:45 in the morning, like, Mele, Tui, Junior, wake up, wake up, wake up. We wouldn't wake up. I know my brothers are sleeping, and I was still in my room, but I was already up, and I wanted to hear his footsteps, so I know that he's healthy. That's what kind of made me know that I still had hope for my dad. My dad was fine. That's why I didn't expect the worst from my dad when he died. But now I look at life so different. I've matured in such a different way. I cherish things, and I just look at everything so different, and I'm so blessed. Like I said, every day I say I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Even though I lost my dad, the number one man in my life, I know I lost him, but I know God has bigger plans, and I know that you guys have bigger plans. And I know that some of you guys probably have problems thrown at you right now. Some of you guys probably think it's the end of the world. It's really not. There's much more people out there going through stuff worse than us, but we're all privileged to be sitting here in a private school, a national school of character, and I'm so glad that you're all here today to be able to listen to all these speeches that are prepared for you guys. And I just hope that you guys are blessed. I just want you guys to know that you guys are blessed, and if you guys are going through stuff, close your eyes and just thank God for it, because it's Him telling you to make you stronger.
Mele's mother is here.
Hi, everybody.
strong young lady, Mele. So we're proud of you. ASB president. You did a great job up there. The next speech is about passion. Passion for something that you do, that you believe in. You know, what is your passion? And I've heard this speech a couple of times. I think this young man just knocked it dead. And so please welcome senior